Hey guys, what's up? Happy Saturday. Apologies if you joined that live tonight. That live sucked. We will get into that, but before I forget, like and subscribe. I've got a good show for you tonight, I hope. What I was thinking about discussing. I know I said Bella Hadid, but I'll save Bella for another night. I want to talk about Sydney Sweeney. I want to talk about, I cannot go 1 week without talking shit about Cardi B. So I want to talk Cardi B. I want to talk about Kim Kardashian and how she failed the bar in her terrible new show. I want to talk about Ashley Graham's sister, who I stumbled upon on TikTok. That it's a good follow. We'll get into that, and then I told you I'd discuss Erica Kirk. So what I was thinking is we'd watch a couple clips from her from this week. God knows every week we're hearing from her. It's interesting, isn't it? I also wanted to say I watched like the beginning of one of my older episodes. I forget why I had to watch it. Like I was checking something, and the beginning was like this: "Hi guys, happy Saturday. Welcome to the show." I was like, what was wrong with me? I couldn't believe that you guys would see an opening like that and then sit through it. So I will try to be a little bit more lively. Also, somebody said I had bad sound. I have a fucking microphone now, you guys, please. I can only do I just heard someone who was scary. I can only do so much, I'm not a techie. I do hope that like one day somebody like discovers this podcast and gives me millions of dollars and then helps me with all of my tech issues. So after that terrible live, which like I said, I'll get into, I was like laying in bed so tired. I didn't know if I could come down here and do this, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let those demons win. I'm going to come down and record my episode. This was a rough week. I'm sure everybody was feeling it. Was it last week that we set the clocks back? I feel like everybody was in like, it was very miserable this week. I can't say anything bad happened to me. I was just like very tired and like everything was very boring. And I feel like everybody's vibes were kind of like low because it's just that time of year. Like it's getting dark at like 3 p.m. I will say, there's this like guy that sells these mushroom chocolates. And I got some for when I went to Portsmouth last week. No, I always get Portsmouth and Portland mixed up. When I went to Portland last weekend, I got some for my friend. And so I like took a couple. Like I wasn't like meaning to like do like a full on, like I'm not trying to like trip on like a Wednesday, but that is what happened. That's what happened. I watch that show. It's that show with the animals. I obviously never watch it unless I'm doing this. So it's that show where they like follow all the animals around. Anyways, it was crazy. They had like this wolf pack that they were following around, and one of the women snuck off to meet a wolf that was like not in her pack. And then the pack leader ran over and found them and like broke them up. But wolves stay attached for 30 minutes after they fuck. Like, imagine. It was crazy. And then the wolf ran off. I guess you're not supposed to like bang another wolf that's like in another pack. But what was crazy about it is like, how did they meet? That was the most exciting part of my week. But you know what happened is like right after I like came to, that lasts like an hour. Like I was like looking at the clock. I'm like, I can't believe I fucking did this to myself. So it lasted like an hour and a half. And I swear to God, hand to God, I woke up out of it. And I like, looked at my phone and this is what I saw. And I was just like, dude, what the fuck is this? This is crazy. Anyways, little did I know that this would be the downfall of my live. So you guys know, like, I don't have any sort of set schedule for my life, really. Like, obviously, I have like things that I do and I like pre-plan them like maybe the day before. But even sometimes, like in the morning, like I switch it up, like whatever my plan is, I change it. So there is something about having like one thing that I have like set in stone, which is that 7:00 live that like, I don't know, it like lives in the back of my brain all week. And it's like, I don't like having anything that I have to do. I know that sounds like I'm like not lazy, but like, I don't know, I'm just like flying by the seat of my pants. I'm really not, but it's like anything that's like set in stone like that, that's like a weekly thing is tough for me anyways. So the other thing is that like they're up and down. Like you can have a good one and then the next week it can be like a terrible one. And what happens is that TikTok like must try to sabotage me, and it like sends these demons into my lives that, you know, don't align with me on an energetic level. It's very clear. And they just annoy the shit out of me. It's not even really like when these bad lives happen, it like annoys me for like a couple hours and then I just don't give a fuck. I mean, that's really how I feel about most things that ever go down on TikTok, is that I'm like, oh, this like doesn't really matter because like I don't fucking care. But it is irritating to me in the moment. And it's like irritating that it's distracting when I'm trying to like actually have fun with like the regular people that are in it. So what I want to do is I want to try to look into doing like a YouTube live, because like I fuck with you guys and I feel like, dude, honestly, if you are here like watching my YouTube show, like to hate watch, like that's fucking psychotic. And I have to imagine that that's very few people that are like on this YouTube. So maybe we just do YouTube lives. So I'll have to like look into it. You know how I am with researching shit. I'm fucking terrible. But I promise I'll like try to look into it. I did want to tell you too, like that YouTube was like, oh, you can like make money. And then it like had a few paragraphs of how to do it. And I was like, oh, I'll save this for a different day. So I'll add that to the list. I'll look up how the fuck I'm making money on this bitch. And then how I can do a YouTube live. I will say that if I hit it big on YouTube, which I think is going to happen, I swear to God, I'm like, I think that's like manifesting, right? Is just like, oh, this is going to happen. Anything that I've ever like thought of like that in life has actually happened. And I didn't realize that that's what manifesting was until I don't know, I saw 300 TikToks about it. But I was like, oh yeah, I guess anytime that I haven't had a doubt about something, it has come true, which by the way, I used to think that like, if I tried out for Real World, I would get on it. And I saved myself. I was like, I can't be famous from fucking Real World. I will end up getting in a fight with someone. And I was smart enough to know not to do that. But anyways, my thought is that if I end up hitting it big and like I make a lot of money, I'll open up an insane asylum. You have my word on that. Because a lot of these people, they need to be put in an insane asylum. Okay. And I will open a chain if I could. Should I franchise a few insane asylums? That would be sick. I really only do things that I'm passionate about. And I am passionate about getting these people some help. Okay. I'll just say that. Like I said, it's like, I don't be crazy on your own. I don't give a shit what you got going on. Although things seem to be moving in a bad direction for everyone because so many people are crazy. But dude, be crazy on your own. I'm not coming to look for you and see what the fuck you're up to. I don't know why you're looking for me. So I can't have that loser energy on me. You know what I mean? I can't do it. So I'm going to be like Sydney Sweeney and just fucking ignore these people. And let me say, before we watch this interview, I'm not a Sydney Sweeney fan. I'm not a fan of any of these people. I think you guys know that by now, right? Like, you think I'm going to watch Sydney Sweeney's movie? I only watch 90210. You know that. That's the only show I watch. That's all we did in Portsmouth. And my friend was like, this is amazing. It's like, I don't know why you don't listen to me, because I'm right about pretty much everything. Anywho, I'm not a big fan of Sydney Sweeney. The thing is like, I'm always consistent. I remain consistent. I don't look for other people's takes to figure out how I feel on things. I watched that Gene commercial and I was like, this is insane, which like most stuff is, you know what I mean? Like most stuff is being looked at by these people are demented. You're looking at it, they're looking at it from a skewed lens. They're brain damaged in some way. I'm not a doctor, so I can't pinpoint what it is. But if you looked at that Gene commercial and you thought this is racist, like there's truly something wrong with you. And that's what I said from the very beginning. And I also said she's like a dum-dum. You know, she she plays the whole dum-dum thing, which I can't really blame her. And to be honest with you, I find it a little interesting because I'm sick of these celebrities that are just they are just pandering, like maniacs. It's all we ever hear. It is all we ever hear. We only hear. I think I've said this before. Like when we were talking about the Charlie Kirk thing, it's like my point of view on having any sort of like, if you have an opinion that's not the mainstream opinion, you have listened to both sides. You are actually the one that listened to both sides. Because if you have just the mainstream opinion, I guarantee that all you heard was the mainstream opinion, which where they're getting their information from, I guess they're getting their information from other maniacs on TikTok and in the comment section. I block people that I don't like. I don't engage with stuff that I don't like. So I'm really not sure what's going on. But like I said, it's like if you have any opinion that's not the mainstream opinion, you actually were the person that like heard both sides, because it's impossible to not hear the mainstream opinion, which is this is all brainwashing. Like they want you to have this one opinion. They want you to fight with everybody, which by the way is why I don't talk a lot about like how I feel about like anything political, because number one, it's all fake to me. Like it's fake. Do I think that some people are clearly insane? Yeah, I do. But is it worth it to fight with insane people? No, it's really not. And I think to myself, I'm not moving the needle by speaking on this. It doesn't make me feel good to fight with people. I think that's what they want, the bottom line. And these people are very stupid. So why would I waste my time fighting with stupid people? Like that is really like that's my train of thought. And I'm my fucking TikTok name is literally DJ Hungry Human. Somebody in the live was like, you don't speak out about racism. Bro, racism in a fucking jeans ad that's not racist. You think that DJ Hungry Human, I have barely any followers compared to like actual like big TikTok people. It's like, what do you think's going to happen if I speak out? Oh yes, Sydney Sweeney's racist. You think that's going to cure racism? Like it's very interesting, the TikTok world. I will say that, because here's the thing. It's like, I do think that what happened with Sydney Sweeney is ridiculous and it's funny to talk about. I do want money from TikTok. Yeah, I want money from TikTok. Okay. So, I have to post a certain amount of videos. This is a business. This is a business. So yes, I will share my opinions on these things. I just will not go in the live to hear people fucking rage about it, because I just don't care. Okay. Anyways, that's kind of what happened in the live, is that like they were very annoying. They're obsessed with Sydney Sweeney. Thank God I don't have like a big old jugs or something. They'd really hate me, because like I think that I said it in the live. I think that part of this is that like, number one, they hate men. They hate men so much, but they're obsessed with men. I talked about this last week. They hate men, but they're obsessed with men. And they don't like that men like Sydney Sweeney. Men would have a relationship with a fucking, a rubber doll. Why are we? And by the way, you know what I was thinking of when I was like, tripping and I was watching that nature show, is like men are just annoying. I mean, this is all throughout nature. It's like, I'm willing to accept that. It's just the way it is. We're fighting on so many fronts. We're fighting nature on so many fronts. And it's like, life is hard enough. Life's annoying enough. I don't want to do all of this extra fighting. By the way, my little brother sent me this meme, and this is how I feel. Like, this is it. I'm half trying to stay on track, and the other half, like, I don't give a shit about anything. That's the vibe. So yeah, do I want to fight about Sydney Sweeney? No. But anyways, let's make fun of her. Well, let's make fun of the interviewer.
In jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life. Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah, I like your
You look
jeans.
great in your jeans. I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean, the president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone. And I wonder,
Look at those eyes. Those are, I'm sorry. In my opinion, those look like medicated eyes to me. Just like, she's trying to, how am I going to bait this girl into saying she likes Donald Trump? She was like, please take the bait.
what that was like.
It was surreal.
It was surreal.
Hmm.
And it would be totally human. I would probably feel like thankful that somebody had my back in public, and conveniently, some very powerful people had my back in public. And I wondered if you felt that way.
Mm, I don't think that it's not that that feeling didn't I didn't have that feeling, but I wasn't thinking of it like that, or like of any of it. I kind of just put my phone away. I was filming every day. I'm filming Euphoria, so I'm working like 16-hour days, and I don't really bring my phone on set, so I work and then I go home and I go to sleep. So I didn't really see a lot of it.
You've made a really good case for keeping your thoughts and your life separate from that work. But the risk is that, there's a chance that somebody will get some idea about what you think about certain issues and feel like I don't want to see Christy because of that. Like, do you worry about that?
No, no.
The criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like,
I said this in the TikTok too, is like, how did it switch to a joke now? You guys were raging the fuck out, acting like it was like the most serious like display of racism. And now she's like, oh, it's a joke. Okay.
like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly
Mm.
speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
I think more importantly, what I liked about this interview, by the way, is that this is the best way to handle people that are an op. Like that woman's coming at her as an op. Like there's no room for them to like find common ground there. She's not really interested in what Sydney Sweeney has to say. She is trying to bait her into apologizing and admitting that that Gina ad was racist. That's what's going on there. And like obviously Sydney Sweeney walked into that knowing that that was going to be what they try to corner her with, and she just didn't take the bait. And I used to be somebody that like you never want to be like when you're a normal person, like you never want to be misunderstood, and you don't want people to like think that think you have the wrong intentions, right? Like that's pretty normal is when somebody is accusing you of doing something that you didn't do, or accusing you of something that didn't really happen in the way that they're saying it happened. You tend, and I've done this in the past, like you tend to over explain. And it comes from a place of like, it comes from a normal place in that most people don't want other people to misinterpret how they feel about something, right? The problem is that like I said, it doesn't really matter what Sydney Sweeney has to say. It's not about that. It's about trying to corner her. And I've realized that the less that you say, the more you hold back. It's like when you're writing a text message. Like delete if you wrote 5 sentences, delete 4 of them. Don't over explain. You don't give somebody the opportunity to come back with something else and to further the conversation in a way where they can continue like manipulating what you're saying. that's what I liked about it, is just like, she's kind of like, and I've said this about her before, it's like, she doesn't seem to like, whatever her strategy is very interesting, especially compared to like what we've seen in the last like 10 years of celebrity. Like the every controversy, like even if it's a nothing, even if it's like nothing, they immediately cower, they immediately apologize, they immediately give in. So it's refreshing to see somebody that's just like, I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm just not going to do it. And so, you know what? Good for Sydney Sweeney. I did want to talk about Kim Kardashian. Can you believe that all of this studying that Kim did, she didn't end up passing the fucking bar? It's like the least surprising news ever. Like, oh, you gallivanting around to every fucking event that you've ever been invited to, you never leaving us alone, you wearing superhero costumes day and night. Like, what a surprise that you didn't find time to like fucking pass the bar. I need to talk about this hair. I talked about this on the live and someone said, maybe you just don't like hair. And I thought about that. And I could understand why people might think that, because I'm very critical of different hair. But here is the problems that I have. The 80 pounds of fake hair, I don't fucking like it. You know that already. It's like, and we'll get to Erica Kirk later, but like, I don't trust anybody that has 80 pounds of hair. I do not like a gelled, slicked look, unless it's, I don't even really like a slicked bun. I really don't. But I can like deal with that. I don't like when it's gelled down. I don't think it ever really looks that good. And that's funny coming from me, because right now my hair, it looks really shiny and like it's gelled, but it's not. So this look in particular, like the gel's bothering me, but I don't like the flippy flip. I don't like when it's flipped up like that. And I need to show you. I don't know if you guys, I don't know where the hell I saw the clip. I found a clip to show you guys, but I saw some clip of that show and I was like, that show is her new show, which is what the screenshot is from. She has some new lawyer show. It's a Ryan Murphy show. You know, I think I've talked about this before. Ryan Murphy is one of my enemies for sure. Cause like his shows are just garbage, everything about them. And he's one that won't leave us alone. It's like, why do you have to have 15 shitty shows that are like the same? It's like same, you know, they're all different fonts, but like they're the same, you know what I mean? Same people, same styling, same corny ash storylines and what have you. I'm acting like I actually watched the show, by the way. I can just picture it. I saw a couple seasons of American Horror Story, and then it got really bad, and I was like, yeah. And I might have seen the first season of Scream Queens. But it's just like nobody's producing that much in producing quality shit. Anyways, let's look at this. The reason I want to show you this clip is just to show you how ridiculous this hair is. But let's go.
Oh, it'll never be over.
Okay,
With the hair.
I understand what's going on here. I get it. What you're saying is that my big life is just too rich for that little Philly kid. But you're leaving out all of your success and brilliance.
Yeah, exactly. Why do I forget about all of that in your presence?
I don't know. Why do you?
Because next to you, I feel hopelessly and ridiculously small.
That's not on me. That's on you.
Fuck you.
By the way, I thought that was really aggressive. And this is like a perfect, like, this is one clip. The fucking writing is terrible. And like, I mean, I'm sure grown men do that, but it's like, just be like, fuck you in a TV show. And she didn't say anything that was like that crazy. And then, I don't know. They don't look right together. Her face does not fucking move at all. And she's a terrible actress. Anyways.
And don't fucking gaslight me either.
Look
I've
at
been
the
feeling
hair.
like this for years, and I know you have too.
What's going on with you? I feel like you're not telling me the whole story.
What's really going on? I want a divorce.
You want a divorce. What are you talking about?
seen somebody else.
Like, I don't know, guys. Who the fuck is watching this shit? Also, all week there's been a fucking fly in here, and it's been driving me absolutely insane. It just tried to attack me. Why is everybody trying to attack me tonight? I don't understand. Anyways, so we've touched on the loop-de-loo hair, the flipping hair, the greasy hair. You know that I can't go a week without talking shit about Cardi B, you guys. And now we're going to touch on the 80 pounds of hair. So this clip I'm going to show you. Now, I don't know if you remember that clip that I showed you a couple weeks ago where he was presenting her with, like, I don't know, some fake ass flowers. Those, you know, those flower boxes these bitches love. You know, those, like, it's like a hat box and then it has like fake roses. It's like, oh my God. I feel like all the baddies, they love that shit. It's like, this is a dust collector. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. He presented her with like some flowers for her birthday. And like, they were so awkward when they were saying hello to each other. And I was like, I don't really think they're together. I've been saying this all along. I don't really think they're together. And I want you to watch this clip and you tell me if this looks normal to you. This was Cardi B. She came to Foxborough. He plays for the Patriots. She sat with Bob Kraft. She should have went after Bob Kraft. She would have been better off. Anyways, let's watch this.
Hey, how you doing today?
We're doing really great. We're doing really good.
Okay. What's your name? Where you from?
My name is Cardi B. I'm from the Bronx.
BX is in the house. Stop playing with her. Let's go. We see the fit. Describe it for us right quick.
You guys, look at the fucking hair. I can't. At least it's not super thick, but I don't like this either.
Get down, a little Hermes, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit.
The boots.
Nice and modest, you know what I'm saying?
This how you doing it?
Wag material. Wag material.
Okay. Where we at?
We at the Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
As you can see, we out here in Boston having a little tea party.
Yeah. How you enjoy the game?
Nice TD party. How about that?
Enjoy the game?
Big TD party. How about that?
Okay, but how do you enjoy the game? I mean,
I love
TD.
Big TD.
Big TD.
Big TD.
You know what I'm saying? Something like.
Am I doing it good?
Look, it was cool. It was cool. Do you rather have a partner with style or funds?
Style.
Why?
I mean, you don't really need funds for style.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you can't pull up with somebody with no drip.
Yeah. Okay. We like that. What's your favorite song for your album that is dropped?
Pretty as fuck.
On my back. He like pretty as fuck. On my back. I cater that one too.
Okay, that's a cool one.
Man.
What's a good Dominican dish?
Good Dominican dish, it's plenty. It's almost everything. Almost everything.
Anyways, we don't have to watch that whole thing. She goes on to say that she doesn't cook. I'm sure he loves that. I don't think they're together. I don't think that he likes her at all. I think that in my opinion, and this is just speculation, I think that he did not want to have this kid and she wanted to have the kid. And then he never really, he wasn't into it. I feel bad for her in that, even though she's like, I can't stand her. Like, actually, it like does kind of make me feel bad for her. I do like her outfit. Say that. But it does make me kind of feel bad for her because it's just like, what an embarrassment this is. And I listen, they'll never come out and say that they've been broken up this whole time, but I really do think that they've been broken up this whole time and that this is all fake to save face for her. I think I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but there is like a man that like accused him of like sexual assault, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And I think it's like, I don't know that that's been confirmed, but that was floating around TikTok. People think he's a friend of Dorothy. Why is everyone a friend of Dorothy? Isn't that, it's a little strange. Let me see what else I wanted to show you before we get into Erica Kirk. I wanted to tell you about Ashley Graham's sister. So Ashley Graham's sister like pops up on my TikTok, and apparently like her and Ashley Graham like don't fuck with each other at all. And like the sister is estranged from the family. And you know, many people don't like Ashley Graham. I don't know a ton about Ashley Graham, but I remember that like the vibes were pretty rancid with Ashley Graham, and like a lot of people do not like her. So basically what the sister said is, and I'm going to show you, I'll show you a video of the sister, and then I'll put, I guess you can probably see her name, but on the TikTok, but I'll also put it in the description of the YouTube in case you guys want to see it. The sister had a baby at 17 and obviously was like living with her parents, and the parents had a lawyer friend, and the lawyer said, you should sign your rights over. You should sign your parental rights over to your parents so that your kid can get health insurance. So she did that. And then the family, like the baby daddy moved in with them. And then she wanted to like break up with the baby daddy. And the mom took the baby daddy's side and was like, you can leave. And now, mind you, she still had custody of the kid. And so this girl like had nowhere to go, and she was like living with different people, I guess, and like would go to the house to go and meet up with them to like have visitation with the kid. And I guess like Ashley Graham and the mom were like wicked mean to her. And they were like, she said that the mom would like lay in bed with like the baby daddy and like read books to the kids and shit. And somebody in the comments was like, did your mom have like a relationship with your baby daddy? And she just like did like a weird emoji, like kind of confirming it. So eventually she ended up getting like custody back. And she has custody of the kid now. And she like lives, I don't know if she lives in the same state as them, but she doesn't speak to the family at all. And she like is actively dragging Ashley Graham, which is like hilarious. And she said that like her and her friends, that her friends used to like comment on Ashley Graham's social media and like say shit about it. And like Ashley Graham would like always delete it. So now that this girl's like, her stories are like blowing up on TikTok, people are going to Ashley Graham's Instagram, and she's just like actively deleting all of the comments. But here she is.
Worst things I ever had to do was pay child support to my baby dad, who was living with my mom for free while I was stuck living in my car and or a person from my church's spare bedroom. I would even have to drop my kid off at their house. And also when I would make calls to talk to my son on the days I didn't have him, my mom would say things like, oh, he doesn't want to talk to you. My guy. This kid is 4 years old. Mind you, his dad wasn't even around the first 4 years. So this was kind of a shocker. Another one of the most terrible things I ever had to go through was waking up one day and my famous older sister flying my mom, my baby dad, and my son to Disneyland, and I didn't know where anybody was. But that's not nearly as good as the time where I was still in the family, but my older sister made a swimsuit line called the Sisters Swimsuit Line, where it was just her and my little sister. Mind you, there was nothing really I did to get like kicked out. Like they can say, oh, you did this, oh, you did that. But when I've gotten older and talked to other families, those are all just like sister things or just normal things family go through. I wasn't on hardcore drugs. I wasn't stealing from the family. I wasn't hurting anybody. This was all just my mom's black sheep projecting scapegoatness onto me. I think my favorite was when I saw them all on Family Feud. Hey, y'all. And my mom posting it all over Facebook. Like, this is our family now. As if everyone's just not like, where the heck is Maddie? My mom told people in my hometown that I have multiple personalities, that I have all of these issues. But when I was able to get down to the nitty gritty of it all, I remember when I got pregnant in high school when I was 17, her immediately trying to take ownership of my son. And from that day, from the day I got pregnant, she was trying to get me out of the picture. Now, my parents were getting divorced at this time, and I don't know if she thought that maybe if she had another son or kid, it would keep my dad around. I really don't know what was going on in that Gemini's freaking head, but she went above and beyond to make sure I knew that I was a piece of crap that deserved nothing. And overcoming that is next level. Anybody that's ever been there, huge kudos to you for overcoming. I don't know if we really ever overcome. For years and years, probably up until about 2 years ago, and I mean, my kid is almost 16, I really just thought everyone hated me. I thought I was a piece of crap. I thought nobody would ever actually love me. That whatever your mom says to you does major damage. The crazy part is that her mom died while I was living with her, and I was being like, Mom, I'm so sorry. Like, really thought my mom was my best friend up until the day she like put my stuff on the front lawn and told my son that I left him. The fuck? But where was I going? Her mom died, and I remember her telling everybody like, oh my God, like that hurts at any age. How could anyone ever lose a mom? Yeah, girl, how could they? I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I'm doing a lot better without her. What's funny though is after, my older sister, who is famous, mind you, would have all of these overly cheesy, like, my mom's the best. She taught me everything. She never spoke bad about herself. She was the best thing in the world. Girl, it's giving, you're doing too much. But only me and my besties really do. To watch them be on like mega platforms like Good Morning America and all these things being like, we're so happy and we're so awesome. I've just been like, that karma is coming. I've never gotten to tell these stories publicly. All of my besties are the only ones that lived it with me and know about it. But I'm pretty freaking healed from it, and it's all a bit freaking nuts. So I always knew I wasn't who they said I was. I always knew that I was who I knew I was. And hindsight 2020, I probably would have eventually kicked my own self out of my family just because they called me moody growing up, but I can look back and realize that they did not feel authentic. And I would get moody being around people who were bullies and not authentic. So eventually I would have kicked myself out anyway, but it's a blessing being the black sheep.
I fucking love that girl's vibe. She's like a stylist. Her TikTok is cool, and I just like her vibe a lot. And I just like that she's torching Ashley Graham because it seems like they very much deserve it. So that was just a little taste of that whole story. But do go follow her if you're interested in that. I just thought that was like, I thought it was kind of cool to hear that story and to get that perspective. I can't even fucking imagine like your sister blows up and then just like acts like you don't exist. And she seems like such a nice girl. Obviously, like, you don't know the whole story, but from what I've seen of that girl, it sounds pretty legitimate. Anywho, okay, let's talk about not knowing the full story about Erica Kirk. Okay, so I believe that I only spoke on this like when I did like the Charlie Kirk episode where I like talked about like all of that stuff that happened, and obviously that was like at the very beginning, and that was at a time when you was not right to criticize Erica Kirk. Even though I thought that there was a lot of weird shit going on from the very, very beginning. I realized that like I think that I used to like doubt myself. I think you always doubt yourself when you're like really young, but like my discernment is like on point. Like I'm almost always like my first impression of somebody, which I usually fight. If I have a bad first impression of somebody, I usually like still give them a chance, but I always end up being right. So I usually keep those people at an arm's length, and then time always tells. What's done in the darkness always comes to light, right? And that goes for people and their energy as well. So I didn't know anything about Erica Kirk. Obviously, I knew Charlie Kirk. I was not like I wasn't like a huge follower of Charlie Kirk, but his videos would pop up. I'd listen to them. I didn't I didn't have like a, you know, any sort of like, you know, familiarity. I can never say that word with like his family and shit. Like I didn't know he had 2 kids. I didn't know Erica. I didn't know any of it. So I remember like the day that happened, I was with a customer of mine and she was like, "Oh, well, he's married to like Miss Arizona." And I was like, "Good for him." I feel like if I like picture a conservative guy, it's like the like creme de la creme for a wife is like a fucking Miss Arizona or whatever. So obviously, like I remember, I don't know if you guys follow HRH collection. She's hilarious. But she was like, I really want to like hear from Erica. And I think like most people were feeling that way, right? Like you kind of like that was just such a fucking crazy that whole thing was so crazy and the days after were so crazy that like, yeah, you want to hear from the family, you want to know that like that she's all right or whatever. I thought it was really weird that JD Vance was like all up in the shit from the jump. Like I was like, obviously I was like, why the coffin video? Why the hands? The hands felt not real to me. I think that they were, but like at the time, like I was like, that is fucking weird. I thought that like all of the like videos of like JD Vance like carrying the coffin, I'm like, what's happening here? Like, why are they really like trying to like make this a JD Vance thing? And then obviously like there just was a lot of cinematography. There was a lot of content. There was a ton of content. And I found that to be very strange. So then let me go from the beginning. So yes, we see like the coffin content and then the first speech. The first speech gave me the worst feeling. Like I was like really sketched out about that speech. Like I was like, what the fuck is going on? And like, is this fake? Like, is this a movie? That's really what I thought. Like, this feels like really bad acting. And then some people have said that was AI, that her like teeth were flickering. Although there's been a lot of people in the past couple weeks that have been like, she's shape shifting, like her teeth are fucking glitching and like her eyes are like, she's a lot. There's a lot of look going on there for sure. But it was just a very, very strange speech. And like she looked a lot different. Like when you see pictures of her before, like she didn't have that like weight to her eyebrows. And like that honestly could be like bad Botox. They dropped her eyebrows, but like I just feel like there was like a hardening to her face. Like she was, and not that I'm like picking apart her looks, but like the vibe of that whole video was weird. And obviously like the tone of it was a little bit strange, especially when you consider like the tone shift in the speeches at the memorial. So obviously in that video, the first speech, she was like, hell hath no fury, like a widow scorned, like that was the kind of vibe. And then which like I was like, okay, I can kind of fuck with that. But again, like that the whole thing just felt weird. It felt like unnecessary to me. Like we didn't need to like rush her out to do this type of thing. But then it was like the immediate like takeover of like, she's the CEO of Turning Point now. And like, we're fucking taking over the Charlie Kirk show. And I've talked about this on TikTok. Like the guys on the Charlie Kirk show, like they all fucking sketch me out majorly, especially that Andrew guy. Like, do you guys give a single fuck about what just happened? Like, I don't know if like, you know, anybody who's ever lost someone, like you do, when I've lost someone, I took a half day off work, and like people might think that that's like weird. Like I could understand, like you might think that, and like I could understand like thinking that about Erica Kirk, for instance. Like so in that way, I do understand that like sometimes you just have to keep going, but you have to. I didn't have 2 little kids. Like, it wasn't my husband that died. I had to go to work, and I felt like I couldn't sit home and like I'm not that type of person anyways. Like, I can't just like sit around and like cry. I have to like try to get my mind on something else. And then at night you go home and like you are a complete fucking mess and like all of that stuff. So like that I understand, but she wasn't that involved in Turning Point. As far as Charlie Kirk and what both of them said like on the podcast before, and like the vibe from both of them was that like this is a traditional family that was there. That's what they believed in, that the wife stayed home and took care of the kids, and he was, the main provider, which obviously like, he died, and so she's going to have to provide. Although think about all of that money that people donated like that. Also, that's crazy. I will say I never understand when people, if you have less money than someone, this person is very, very wealthy. I understand like you always want to do something. So it's like good to direct people in a certain way, but it's like she made a lot of money from like donations and stuff like that. So it wasn't like this, like there wasn't a need to immediately like declare her CEO of Turning Point and then like have her on the show and like have her out and about. And I think a lot of people have felt this way. It's like, shouldn't you be home with your kids? And I don't mean that in the patriarchy. Fucking, I've already had it with the feminists, so I don't want to hear it. But like, I don't mean it in that sense where like she couldn't eventually become like the face of Turning Point or whatever. But I just felt it was a little bit like it just felt off. Obviously, like I think that it felt off because it didn't really sort of like align with what they had said about their family before. Unless you could say like Charlie would want this, which I'm just like, dude, I don't know if Charlie would want this. He might want people to like mourn him for like a half a fucking second. I don't know. So anyways, that happens. Then there's that memorial. I mean, I said something about it like the next day people were all over me. Or not the next day, but like maybe it was a couple days later, because it's just like, dude, the pyro. And then they're like, Charlie loved pyro. And it's like, okay, yeah, for rallies and stuff. But like even like from a branding perspective, say, I don't know that it's advisable to like to have the pyro and like act like it's a WWE match. I think maybe it's like, let's tone it down a little bit. Like, this is a somber occasion, but then you have like Susie Wiles coming out, and like it was a full on political event, which again, like, I actually think that like, that's not what people needed. Like that was, I said it in the video that I did, like, dude, I was fucked up from that. Not only because it was like, they very, very much wanted us to see those 2 videos. They really wanted us to all have to witness that. But then the way that people behaved afterwards, like, which was sick, and I'll never forget it. But I think that was the opposite of what the vibe should have been. I don't think it should have been like a political event. And I think that completely backfired. I mean, I think that was the start of a lot of uncertainty, especially with Turning Point, because like I who the fuck is watching the Charlie Kirk show and like watching these people, and like they all seem sketchy as hell, and like none of them can answer questions in a way that seems straightforward and honest. It's like it's just a lot of crazy beating around the bush. It's like nothing really makes sense with how they're saying things happened. Like the way that Mikey McCoy like turned, that to me is like one of the most standout things, is where he was standing and the fact that he really couldn't see what had happened. And then he immediately turned and then immediately walked away. And then what they're saying happened with the phone calls, which one of the clips that I'm going to show you, like that, they're discussing they're discussing, I hope it's one of the clips I'm going to show you. If not, I'll cue the other one up. Like at one point she discusses like, I didn't turn my phone on. And it's like, but you were posting fucking content nonstop. And I'm not saying that she's the one that posts the content, but it's like, you didn't, dude, you were fucking, it seemed like you were talking to every single person that in this fucking administration, but you didn't have your phone on. And then just like how he's like, oh, I called her and then I called my dad. And it's like, it seems like there's a lot of backpedaling happening. And it's like, when people are telling the truth, it's not this complicated. You know what I mean? And it's the hot pants. Obviously that was like, I think that was the point when people were kind of like, okay, well, like enough, like we have to say something about this. Like we are all seeing what the fuck is happening. And it's been awkward to say anything. And like, I think that the fact that she seems to be thrusting herself into politics, it's not really fair to expect people not to have an opinion about what's being presented to us when you are entering a political sphere. And like, you're obviously like hardcore pushing JD Vance. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here? None of it seems right. None of it looks right. And speaking of looks, let's look at this first clip. They need to tone down this look. Okay, if they're selling us, if they're trying to sell us on Erica Kirk, which I do think that ship has sailed. I think that they mishandled this greatly. So I don't know that there's coming back from this, but if there is, it's definitely not dressing her like Tammy Lee.
That evil wins when good people stay silent. And so for the rest of my life, I will make sure that I don't stay silent. I'll keep speaking the truth. No matter
the wiping of the tears that don't exist is a lot. It's like, do you guys not like watch these videos back? Like you don't just like tell her like maybe don't wipe away the non-existent tears. And also, if you're planning on crying, why are you wearing so much makeup? Okay. And I don't mean to like really pick on her, but I also feel like this woman is extremely sketchy. So it's like these things are, I think that they're fair game. What's with this fucking outfit?
No matter the cost. And I pray that all of you do too.
Like, I don't know, guys. It's a lot. They're asking us to ignore a lot of stuff. Let's watch the Jesse Waters interview, some of it.
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
Sorry, but like obviously I have to comment on the rings. Are like what the hell? And of course she's dabbing. The rings are fucking maddening. That they're crazy. I've never seen anybody wear rings like that. And obviously you guys know how I feel about the hair. I don't need to harp on the 80 pounds of hair.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died. It became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart and I need to be there for my kids and I need to be there.
So she's trying to like be like, I don't pay it. How do you not pay attention to anything? I don't know how you don't. My number one thing would be like, who the fuck did this to my husband? But like, I don't know that I would just, I'd be a maniac, but that's me.
For turning point. And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, how does this happen? How does somebody become so radicalized where they can justify this in their own head? We just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation. Why? How? What's behind it? Like, everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day.
Why the fuck would you, like, that would not be like a top concern. There's just no way. And like, I understand the sentiment, like that, like, oh my God, it was terrible for these people to see it. But like, this is your husband that died. And shouldn't you want justice for the people that saw it? And it's a very like weird answer. It's just like you're hopping around. None of this really makes sense. Like, it doesn't really, you're not answering the question.
They have to relive that every single day. He didn't die in a car accident. He didn't die from cancer. He was assassinated. And the difference between this and previous assassinations in this country is there was no social media. There was no AI. I can't tell you how many fake images are out there of all of this.
And why is she bringing up AI? I find that very odd.
And again, my only request is that just please pray and consider and think about whatever you put online, because it's going to impact his kids in the future. I don't want my kids to go on the internet one day when they're older and see things that it's just, we're all trying to process this in their own way, and I appreciate that. But just some grace.
By the way, I would be worried about my kids seeing like all of the evidence that kind of points to the fact that this guy didn't do it. Like, that would be, or maybe that's what she's asking for them to keep off the internet.
This would be nice.
What was the original
The
question?
theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened,
I thought that he asked her specifically, like, people are like, do you think that they got the guy? I think that they did in a different part of that interview. And she was just as evasive. It's like, everybody involved in this is very strange. And I will say, like, I know, so Candace got interviewed by CNN. I'm sure you saw that. The girl with the very, very weak chin. She's the one that interviewed Tim Dillon too. Like, I know people love Candace, but like, I think Candace is so weird. Like, she doesn't really, she acts like she has all of this stuff to show. And a lot of it is stuff that other people have gathered. And none of it really is like, I feel like she's pointing the finger in so many different directions. And honestly, I think that, so like, it seems like that's what Erica Kirk is kind of like. She won't answer the question. And then she kind of, everybody's just going off on all these different tangents. And I think that it's like, it's hard to focus on one thing and like get the answers, you know, for like, that's why I almost think that Mikey McCoy thing is like some of like the most compelling video, where you're just like, this is objectively weird. Like, nobody would react that way. And then her, like, it's like, you turned your phone off for days and days. It's just like when she said the first fucking speech, when she was like, I don't remember the last time I slept. Girl, it was only like a couple days ago. I think at that point it had only been a couple days. And it's like, you don't remember? And then her whole like the eyes and the looking up and stuff. Charlie, baby. I don't know. I'm like, I think that there might be something to the fact that this was an arranged marriage. I mean, people are saying that they weren't living together. Somebody, you know, I saw a video talking about how they had supposedly like sold their $5 million house months ago. And and then there was like no record of them buying another house, which like I think that might be like it might just not be public because they were like, you know, they're celebrities, but that they didn't, he had an apartment that was like 20 minutes away, and then they didn't sleep in the same bed the night before. They didn't say bye to each other. It's all very strange. Okay, so anyways, those are my thoughts on Erica Kirk. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I mean, there's so much that's happened, and I think that that's like by design too. It's just like, I told you, like, I don't know if I told you, my dad's kind of woke, which is like, God help me. He's a boomer, you know. Today when we were like talking about Erica Kirk, he was like, oh, he's like, Donald Trump killed him. And I was like, what? I was like, couldn't believe that. I'm like, what have you been watching? But he was like, no, with his rhetoric. And I was just like, oh my God, you don't even know the half of it. There's so many people that I'm like, oh my, it's like, there's so many different levels to this shit at this point, and you don't know like who's thinking what. That's why when I first watched that speech, I texted my brother and I was like, what do you think about this? And he's like, dude, sick. And then of course, like a couple weeks later, he's like, dude, she's sketchy. There are still people like, I do think that there's like, obviously you want to, like, there's a desire to believe the official story. I think that like for a lot, like obviously not for me. I mean, I'm just like nosy as fuck. So I want to know everything. So I would never be somebody that's like, no, let's leave it alone. But I think that is obviously like there's a big part, you know, there's a big group of people that think it's rude or mean and like whatever, and think it's unfair to like speak on this. But like I said, what I think things change when you're thrusting yourself into the spotlight in a political sense, especially like with all the JD Vance stuff. Like I think it's fucking weird. I think it's weird to wear hot pants in mourning. I do. And you know me, I'm very vain, and I like when people look very hot, but there's a time and a place. Okay. It's like thin out the hair extensions a little bit, lighten up the makeup, produce tears. Although she did in this interview, she did squeeze them out. It's like, did you know this guy? It's all very weird. Anyways, those are my thoughts on that. What the hell else did I miss? I don't remember if I told you what I was thinking at the top of the hour on what we'll discuss. Listen, I'm gonna put on Kristen. Kristen, what the hell's her last name? Why am I always like this? I always like forget, like midstream. Kristen, paparazzi shots. And then I want to talk Bella Hadid at some point. But anyways, if there's anything you want me to cover that I missed, do let me know. I'm always happy to hear feedback and what have you. Anywho, hopefully you liked that episode. Like and subscribe, okay? And yeah, I guess I'll see you next week. I'll have to figure out what we're gonna do about a YouTube live. But I think unfortunately the TikTok lives are canceled for now. Maybe I'll hop on every once in a while, but let's just meet up here next week. Okay. Bye, guys.